Welcome everybody to the Pima Air and Space Museum. We are on location today where we took Scaled Down Tucson Dragway and took it on the road. I'm standing in front of a Boeing 777. This plane has got a little bit of history that we're going to tell you about. It's one of the over 400 planes that are on display here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. And today we've got Scaled Down Dragway set up inside for a special match race. You'd be amazed how big one of these things is when there's nobody in it except me. You don't have to take my word for it. Let's take a look. Been a while since I've had to walk up a set of stairs to get inside an airplane, but take a look. There is a lot of room inside of a 777, especially when you take all the seats out of the first class section. That's okay. Usually I'm sitting back here anyway. Back here is also where we've got our racetrack set up. Come on back, check out Scaled Down Tucson Dragway inside an airplane at the Pima Air and Space Museum. Well, let's meet the 8 competitors that today will battle it out in our first ever Inside the Fuselage Challenge here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. Look like a mail truck? That's a mail truck. You think Amazon gets your stuff there fast? Man, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see this thing tearing down the drag strip. We've also got a classic from the past. That's a 1967 Shelby GT 500, 428 Cobra jet inches, ready to power it down Scaled Down Tucson Dragway. The Batmobile. How could you have a race inside a plane without a Batmobile? I don't know. I asked. Nobody had an answer. How about a new generation car? Corvette. We couldn't get our hands on a 2020 model, but that's a 19 model. It's also got twin turbos, and that thing is mean. No turbochargers here. That is a 427 Camry with a couple of great big carburetors on top of the blower sticking out of the hood. Beware the classic. How about a van? Because, well, why not? It's actually got a go-kart in the back of it, but don't count this thing out. There is a Viper motor tucked under that thing. And next to that, a home-built car. This thing was actually built out of a fuselage of an old fighter jet. It seemed like we need to get one of those since we're racing inside a plane today. And look under the glass, that is an Allison 12-cylinder. And 12-cylinder. And last, but certainly not least, the Ford Raptor. This thing's been warmed over as well. Hey, we're still in Arizona. We're in the desert. You couldn't be out here without a 4x4, right? So that's the 8 that are ready to battle it out on Scaled Down Tucson Dragway inside the 777 here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. Let's get started. Working inside today, so the weather's not a big factor, but we've still got to get the racetrack prepped for these high horsepower vehicles. Round 1 of the Inside the Fuselage Challenge here at the Pima Air and Space Museum at Scaled Down and Portable Tucson Dragway. We've got the mail truck. We've got the Cobra jet. All right, it's a little Shelby against a little Jeep. Let's find out who's going to be our first round 2 contestant. Oh, problems for the mail truck. It hangs a wheel over the side of the track, spins out down there at about the 8th mile or so. The Mustang marches on straight into true, put the Shelby in the semifinals, and let's get our safety team out there to check on the mail truck. Thumbs up, trackside drivers, okay. All right, second pair, first round. We got old school versus new school. The new gen Corvette, couple of turbochargers providing the boost, and the Batmobile. You guys watched the Batmobile when you were kids, right? Nobody could ever outrun that classic Ford. Let's see if the Corvette can take care of business. Whoa, great drag race. And the Corvette just does pull it off. We're going to have to check the Batmobile, see if the jet thrusters were firing on that one. Either way, he's done. Corvette moves on. All right, third pair, round number 1, the van with the go-kart in the back and with the Viper motor tucked under the sheet metal. Will that be enough to get him around the classic Mustang? Remember, that's 427 cubic inches of Camry Ford with a big old blower. For a berth in the semis, the Ford gets out of shape, looked like a little too much power, spun the tire off the starting line. The van marches on. Viper power in the final 4. And our final pair, round number 1. This should be fun. The Desert Runner, the Ford Raptor, up against the home-built. It's got airplane parts. It's got used parts. It's got stuff that's been laying under the bench. It is a completely untested machine. We're going to find out right here at the Pima Air and Space Museum if it works. And oh yeah, it works. Experimental aircraft at its finest. And we now have our final 4. We've got Wild Bill Shrewsbury, the classic Hemi under glass, and Mike Mantell, the brand new refurbished Little Red Wagon, doing quarter-mile wheel stands, putting on a show for the fans out here at Scaled Down Tucson Dragway at the first ever Pima Air and Space Museum inside the Fuselage Showdown. Out here putting on a show for the fans, but you know the racer mentality takes over. Mantell pulls out in the lead, and he will take the Wheel Stander Challenge. Well, we are inside the 777 here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. Brad Elliott, you are in charge of advertising around this place and promotions. Tell us a little bit about this airplane.
We're in the 777. It's one of the newer additions to the Pima Air and Space Museum. One of the new airliners we have right next to the 747. So you got two wide-body airliners next to each other. Great place for photography. We're lucky enough to be inside today. This particular aircraft was the first 777 ever built.
I like it. The first 777 ever built is this one. It has over 20,000 flights under its belt. And today, it's hosting Scaled Down Tucson Dragway. Let's get back to the racetrack. We'll check in with Brad a little bit later for a little more on the Pima Air and Space Museum. I want to thank our host, the Pima Air and Space Museum. If you haven't been out to this place to check it out, you need to. They've got a lot of history here, from early model prop planes, from some of the earliest jet fighters. They have planes from every generation. It's one of the greatest collections of hardware on the planet. And of course, in NHRA drag racing, we love horsepower, but there still has never been anything built faster than the SR-71 Blackbird. There are only a couple of places in the world that you can see one in person, and this is one of those places. Come on out and check out the Pima Air and Space Museum. They are open to the public. We are ready for the semifinals. It's a little cold and blustery outside, but it is beautiful inside the 777 here at the Pima Air and Space Museum, as we have got the new gen twin turbo Corvette going up against the old school 428 Cobra Jet 1967 GT 500. Winner goes to the final round. Oh, what a race, and the Corvette just does pull it off at the stripe. We'll go back to the photo finish on that one, but it looked like the margin of victory was 5 thousandths of a second. Turbos carry the day and take the Corvette into the final. Will it be the Viper-powered van, or will it be the Allison-powered home-built fuselage model? One of them's got a Corvette waiting. The van this time gets out of shape. Looked like they tried to put too much power down too early, got over up against the wall, slid through the finish line stripe. We talked about the fact that this is one of the newest additions here at the Pima Air and Space Museum, the 777. But there's a lot of history here. How many airplanes on the property?
We have about 400 aircraft here at the Pima Air and Space Museum, and that ranges from 1929 to present day. So,
do you have a favorite?
Oh yeah, the B-36 might be a favorite. It's just massive. I mean, it's a 200+ foot wingspan. It's got 10 engines, 6 turning, 4 burning. There's 4 jet engines, 6 propeller. It's America's biggest bomber ever built. So that one's fun to look at for sure. You got to check that one out outside.
If you are an aviation buff, the entire history of aviation is on display here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. You can check out online for hours, but we're open to the public. Love to have you come out and check it out. Speaking of checking things out, it's time for the finals. Let's see who wins. Pima Air and Space Museum showdown as they host Scaled Down portable Tucson Dragway inside the first ever 777 built. We are lined up for the final round. We've got a Corvette. We got twin turbos. We've got more than 1,000 horsepower at the hubs against a home-built Allison-powered machine. And how about it? He takes care of business. Corvette slows through the middle, and the home-built car takes home all the gold here at Scaled Down Tucson Dragway. Hey, it just makes sense, doesn't it? At the Pima Air and Space Museum that's full of experimental aircraft and experimental race cars going home with the gold. Let's go back as Wild West Engineering presents the in-car cam. In slow motion from inside the Corvette, you can see as the home-built, Allison-powered fuselage car pulls away for the win. Fortunately, we didn't need our air rescue team today, but they are always on hand whenever we're racing at Tucson Dragway, whether the real one or the scaled down one. Congratulations to this week's champion. It seems fitting that when we came to the Pima Air and Space Museum with Scaled Down Tucson Dragway, the winner would be a car that was patterned after and built with used aircraft parts. That thing's a real hot rod. Takes you back to the early days of the National Hot Rod Association. Well, we had a lot of fun out here today at the Pima Air and Space Museum. Really appreciate them letting us borrow the 777 so we could put our Scaled Down Tucson Dragway inside. Also had an opportunity to walk around and take a look at some of the 400+ airplanes that they have on display. I want to see if they'll let me borrow this one. Boy, it sure would make getting to work a whole lot quicker, wouldn't it? That's an SR-71 Blackbird. There are not many of those things anywhere in the world that you can see, but you can see one in person right here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. Hey, if you'd like to win one of the miniature planes that we showed out there, whether it's the Flying Fortress, whether it's the B-17, whether it's the A-10, whether it's a Blackbird, like and share this video. Somebody's going to win them. Might as well be you.